Hi, and welcome to the Free Resource Library. I'm so glad that you are here. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys a tutorial on how to use each of the items in this resource. So when you open the file, which is under February Pack, you're going to open the folder and it's going to give you 4 different files. So you're going to have 3 games and a README page. Now the README page is going to give you an overview of the schedule of when I'll post supplementary items, as well as an overview of the pack and why I created it. Now, the first game in the folder is going to be the mystery picture, and this is by far my favorite game, you guys. This one was inspired by Jeff Hertzberg, who actually has some great review games in his Teacher Pay Teacher store for free. And pretty much students have to guess what the mystery picture is underneath each tile. So what you can do is use this worksheet here to create 20 questions, and you're going to ask basic recall questions. And anytime a group gets the question right, they get 10 points. Now, anytime each group or each person in your class can guess what the mystery picture is underneath the tiles, and this is where you're going to have the competition, and this is where you're going to have your game changer. So if students get the image right, they'll get 50 points for their team. But if they get the question wrong, then they get deducted 10 points from their team. And my students absolutely love this game. So for the picture, you're going to want to choose something that is easily recognized, but that still looks good in pieces. So students won't be able to recognize it so easily. So you wouldn't want to put like a Vincent van Gogh painting or something like that. For this tutorial, I'm going to be using an apple, which is going to be fairly simple for everyone to recognize, but when you see it in pieces, you may not easily recognize it. So you're going to want to go to the top and you're going to want to click Send to Back. And you're going to see that the image disappear, but it's actually just going behind each tile. Now, once you click on the PowerPoint, it's going to individually remove each tile. So anytime a student gets the question right, you can remove the tile. And then if they get the question wrong, you can just have another team or another student still answer the question to keep the game moving. Now you can use the wave one as kind of an introduction game. It's fairly easy, but the green tiles is where it's going to get a little bit difficult, and this is where you're going to challenge your students. So for the green one, I'm going to use a picture of a blue whale, which is actually one of my favorite animals. I actually really like whales, blue whales and orca whales. I think they're so great and so majestic. I recently went to SeaWorld and I saw a orca whale or a killer whale in a tank, and I felt really bad that they were these 2 large animals in this small tank. Now, the students will not easily recognize this picture the first time they see it, so that's why I'm choosing it, because it kind of has the watery background, and you really wouldn't know what it is once you see it behind all the tiles. The next game is going to be response cards, and this is going to be just a basic true or false questions, which I find is actually really great for the students because it requires them to correct their thinking or their reasoning. So you're going to want to print out the slide on page 2, and you want to print out a class copy, and you're going to actually be using this a lot. I use this every unit to make sure that students actually understand the content that I'm teaching them. So let's say it's like a very heavy unit where they had to take a lot of notes. I'll usually use these response cards just to make sure that we're all on the same page. So you're going to print out the true or false cards for your students, and then you're going to print them out. And I personally would print them on cardstock and laminate them so that they last longer. Again, I use them throughout all of my units just to make sure students understand everything. And so by laminating them and putting them in cardstock, it makes it nice and sturdy because your students are going to want to use them, and they get kind of competitive when they want to raise up the first one. So you want to make sure that these last, because I have had my response cards for I think maybe 5 years now, and that's because I laminated them and I also printed them on cardstock. Now, here's the most important thing you need to remember about this game once you have read the question. You don't want students to hear you finish reading the question and then they automatically just put their answers up. You want them to wait and you want to count down for your students to finally put up their response. So let's say my true or false question is social studies is the best subject, true or false? I will say, show me your response in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then at 1, every single student is going to bring up their response. And that's going to be what you want for a review, instead of students just looking at another student's answer and then saying, okay, I'm just going to go with that answer. Now, if you want to create more slides, you just click on that slide and then you can duplicate it, and then you can have a really fun and really quick and easy review game. The next game is going to be pretty much a game everybody knows, which is like a trivia game. But it's basically like a Jeopardy game, but we don't play it with cash. We just play it with points. So if you look on it, if we click on category 1, question 10, you're going to have a space for your question, and then you're going to have a space to put your answer. Then you're going to have an arrow that will take you back to the main screen. And then if you look on the right side, you're going to have this circle, which is actually a timer. So instead of just kind of going with the flow and just giving students a certain amount of time, you can give them 10 seconds, for example, in order to answer the questions. And so to activate this timer, you just have to click on the circle and it will start the 10-second timer. And then once the timer is done, you can click on the PowerPoint again, and then the answer will show up. So you can really pace it out based off of where your students are, or how you personally like to play the game. Now, let's say you wanted to change the timer and make it a little bit longer. So you want to give the students a longer time. You'll just go to animations, then animation pane. Then you'll go click on oval, and then you'll go down to timing, and then you would change the time to make it either shorter if you really want to challenge the students, or you can make it longer, which is going to be beneficial if you have a lower level class or students who are ESE or ESOL. Now, when I show the students that we are done with the question, I take the marker that is in the PowerPoint and I exit out. I like it doing this way instead of the links turning a different color, because sometimes it gets messed up. So you can just take that marker and then you can X out each category you completed and then click discard. Hey guys, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to use some of the review games in your social studies classroom. Now, these are my top 3 review games, so the ones that I use every single time, either before I give a unit test or during my test prep or test review. I do give a big test for my social studies classroom that's given by the state, so I'll always incorporate these games into my classroom just to make sure that the students can understand the content. Please just remember that this is going to be for like your basic kind of like information your students need to know. So like the who, what, when, and why. This is not going to be like an in-depth like analysis or in-depth review. This is just to especially get the students to know like who did this, what happened, where, and the why. So I really hope you guys enjoyed some of my review games. If you have any more ideas for review games, I would love to hear it. You can leave it down in the comment below to let me know what are some other review games you like to use in your social studies classroom. Now, this is the February pack, and I'm going to be making packs for every month. So also, if you have any ideas on different packs that I can include for each month, I would love to hear it down in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.